So I have a lot of people ask me how I sharpen my knives after I'm finished making them. So here's a quick video of a set of steak knives that I've just finished that I've got to put an edge on, and I'll give you a look at them now. So here is my sharpening setup. This is what's called a tri-stone. As you can see, it's triangular in a basin for holding the oil and the stones, and this is my fine stone, which just has a wooden mount built to hold it. And this is the set of steak knives that I'm about to be sharpening. So I've got a couple cuts on my hands. I'm trying to keep the WD-40 out of it, so I'll put some gloves on. So here what I've got is called a tri-stone, and it actually has three different coarsenesses of stone. You have a coarse, a medium, and a fine. But I have my knives so close from filing and sanding and polishing that I don't need to use the medium or the coarse. I'm just going to start with the fine, which isn't super fine, and then I'll go to a super fine stone I have on my left. So you always want to lubricate this stone. I just use WD-40, give it a nice wet down, and I'll pick a knife and we'll get started. So first of all, I look at the edge of the blade to look for any shiny spots on the cutting edge, and this one is probably around 8 to 10 thousandths thick all the way down, so there's not a whole lot of sharpening that has to be done. So when you're setting your knife down on the stone to sharpen, you want to decide what angle that you want to sharpen your blade at and keep it consistently at that angle as you sharpen. So if it's a chopping knife, it would be a higher angle at closer to a 45. And if it's a normal everyday use pocket knife, steak knife, in this case, we're going to do a really shallow angle to make sure that we get a super fine edge on there. So I'm going to lay the blade down on the stone, cutting edge facing me, and I'm going to pull it across the stone towards me while applying downwards pressure with the thumb on the left hand here. And that's 3 strokes, 4 strokes, 5 strokes, 6 strokes, and you can see how I'm following the curve of the blade as I get to the tip. So I did 6 on that side, and I'm going to do 6 in the opposite direction. So I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the stone kind of makes a sound as you slide the blade across it that tells you which spots are rough and which spots are starting to get sharp. You can kind of hear it slick sound at the front of the blade, then it grinds a little at the base, and that's because we're a little thicker right there still. So I'm going to do a couple extra strokes right there at the base, and then we'll wipe some oil off of here and have a look at how our blade is progressing. So we've got a fairly even bevel on each side. I can still see at the base of the blade, and right about midways there's a little bit of shine. So we're just going to keep working on it. One more time to get rid of that burr. And then we're going to go to this fine stone. Better set it down. Okay. And it also needs a little oil. We're going to do the same thing with this fine stone. Just several strokes in both directions. Alright, so there's no burr. I can see that our bevel is consistent from one side to the other, and there's no shine on the cutting edge. And we'll just give it a little test. Yep. She's shaven. So that's what we're looking for.